Well, this is going to be an interesting one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to BayernNow, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Okay, we got that out of the way. Zirkzee and Stiller. Yeah, those are two players that over the last few years, fans have just been hyping up. I personally never really hyped up Zirkzee. I always said, let's watch and wait to see what happens. I always lowered my expectations. People were saying, oh, he's the next Lewandowski. And I said it. Don't do that. That's too much pressure on a young player. Okay, I hate to say it. Actually, I love to say it. I told you so. Okay, I was right. You were wrong. Doesn't it feel good to be right? Feels amazing. So, Bayern are potentially on the verge of losing two academy prospects, and that's Zirkzee and Stiller. These two players have just been hyped up. Hoffenheim, it's not on the verge anymore. Yeah, Hoffenheim got Stiller on a free from next summer until June 2025 on a nice little 4-year contract. Man, that's pretty cool for them. You know what? Stiller is very grateful to Bayern for the training that he was able to enjoy here. As a native of Munich, it has always been his honor to wear this shirt. He will never forget his time at FC Bayern, and he will always stay connected to this club. Those are his words, not mine. Hey, I never personally saw that greatness in him. And I'm not saying that because he's leaving, no. But I do think he is a very, very good player. He has ability. He can clearly do it for Bayern too. So maybe he just needs a new move. This is what I mean when I say we should loan out our academy players. Because maybe they're comfortable in our second team. Doesn't it make more sense to give Zirkzee some time and Stiller some time away from the club on loans while they're still young and learning? Players don't only need, the equipment, high training, need to be with an environment. No. They also need a tough, harsh environment. They need to get dirty, play in front of a high school stadium. That's how you really improve. Look at some of the greatest products from Bayern. They never had a Bayern campus, which is pretty much a whole school. Just you're learning from the best players in the world already. Occasionally on the training ground, you have the best coaches. That's too complicated. Look at clubs like Salzburg and Leipzig and their other sister clubs that just keep producing players. They don't have the greatest equipment. They don't have a whole campus on their training ground. This isn't a criticism to our training ground. It's just something I'm noticing. Our training ground isn't breeding tough ballers. It's breeding comfortable players. Comfort doesn't bring about change or doesn't bring about anything different. Take Zirkzee, for example. Zirkzee for the second team looks like the reincarnation of Ruud Gullit. But for the first team, his touch is off, his dribbling is off, his shooting is okay. He likes to take his chances. He won his 2 games, Wolfsburg, 2 games back-to-back, Christmas in 2019. Zirkzee gave us a great gift. Santa Zirkzee. But ever since then, against Hoffenheim, I remember he scored a goal, maybe? Yeah, I think he scored a goal. 3 goals in that season. And instead of having patience, people started telling me, George, this is the guy to replace Lewandowski. And I was just like, relax. That's not how it works. We have to see Zirkzee perform week in, week out. We're going to lose both of them more likely than not. Zirkzee is going to Everton with an obligation to buy. That's according to Sky Sports News HD. So patience really is a virtue. Imagine having to compete and fight for your spot in the team. We all know these young players are never going to do that with our first team. Look at Chris Richards. Chris did some amazing things against Hertha Berlin. In my opinion, he deserves to see himself in the starting 11 more often than not. But he doesn't play. And I can't just say, oh, Chris, you might be bad. It's genuinely because there are better reasons to play a Pavard. Pavard gets paid more. We paid more money for Pavard. We judge him based on his price tag. With Chris Richards, it's just great if he played well. But with Pavard, it's greater if he plays better. Because we paid more money for him and we pay him more. So our young players are stuck in this little dilemma where they can't play themselves into our first team. Take Musiala, for example. if it was a choice between Gnabry and Musiala, it doesn't matter if Gnabry isn't playing at his best. Musiala will always be on the bench, and Gnabry will start. Sané as well. Why are we playing Sané over Douglas Costa? Because we want Sané to perform based on his price tag, based on the investment we put in him. In our young players, we don't put too much investment in them. We don't put them on a high pedestal. It wasn't always like this. Transfers weren't always the definitive factor for a club, and the amount of money wasn't always that important. But now it is. So that's why we see Zirkzee barely playing. That's why we see Chris Richards barely playing, despite him doing well whenever he did play for us. I hope that can change soon, but I know for sure these young players need loan time. They need to be in an environment where they can actually fight for a spot in their team. Zirkzee going to a Cologne or an Everton, for example, where he should play. Hopefully he does. I don't think he'd play ahead of Calvin Lewandowski. Calvin Lewin. That's going to be a tough one. Stiller, he might just get in Hoffenheim's team. Because again, Seb Hoeneß is their manager. So he would know a lot about Stiller. And I don't want anyone blaming Hansi Flick for not playing them. This is simply how clubs are ran these days, especially a big club. That's how it is. You're not going to think a manager should be playing a younger player that's not on the big paychecks over someone that's established and you can probably rely upon. Zirkzee was never going to start ahead of Choupo-Moting, even though Zirkzee has a more promising aspect of his game. It was never going to happen like that. And you can't say, well, let's play him in the cup games. As we found out, a second division team like Holstein Kiel can cause some damage and just beat you. Yeah, so I can't wait for what happens, though. It's going to be interesting this whole week. Let's see if Zirkzee moves, and let's see if Angelo Stiller moves away. But thank you everyone so much for watching. Mia San Mia, and peace.